Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far. Welcome back to Valorant News. Champs is just around the corner, but 100 Thieves seem to be in a pretty chaotic state. Nitr0 seemingly increasingly likely to leave back to Counter-Strike, one of their substitute players disappearing. What is their roster going to be going into VCT 2022? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, hitting the like button is the best thing you can do to help this channel reach more people. Please consider subscribing as well if you haven't already. Loads of subs the last few days, more views in the last 48 hours than ever before on the channel. Just love to see it. Onwards and upwards from here. Firstly, this from Scream, I want that trophy. This, if you guys missed it, is what the trophy is going to look like for champions. Exciting stuff in Berlin. It's at now the 25th. On the 1st, everything kicks off. So pretty cool to see next Wednesday. Champions does begin with, of course, plenty of teams, Liquid being one of them. They're in the group, I believe, with Sentinels. That's pretty exciting stuff. Expect both of those two teams to get out of there. Liquid haven't even lost a series yet since they brought Nitr0 into their squad. They could be up there with the favourites for this tourney, no doubt. But you've got to get top 2 in that group first, right? You've got to get out of that GSL style format we looked at a little bit ago. Let's talk then about this situation with 100 Thieves. We looked yesterday about the possibility of, we looked at Boy and Dicey leaving their team officially released, and Boy was kind of interesting in this tweet that he came out with right here, when he, at least the tweet longer, when he said, thanks to all the guys on the team, but didn't mention Steel at all, who was on the roster. Now, kind of strange, frankly, but at the same time, maybe expected given the kind of the friction that seemed to be there internally. But as time really has progressed here with this decision that they made before the last chance qualifier to remove Steel from their team, Nitr0 became the in-game leader, and then Boy stepped into the team for that last chance qualifier where, of course, they did not qualify. That decision over time seems to have, got worse and worse in hindsight, quite frankly, because now they find themselves in a really difficult position going into VCT 2022. Steel, it seems, is joining T1, no announcement as of that yet, but that at least is the current rumor. And then 100 Thieves like, okay, what do we even do? They got rid of Dicey, they got rid of Boy. Definitely, I guess, they didn't really want to move forward with those players as actual players on the team, but I thought Boy as an analyst maybe could have been an option. He wants to play though somewhere else, it seems, at least based on his update last night. But this comes out from Nell yesterday. We saw George also tweet this, kind of saying, this may be increasingly likely once again, that apparently the CSGO comeback that we talked about maybe a week or so ago, and was like, okay, is this actually going to happen? Does he really want to go back to CSGO? Of course, he's got a kid now, right? Maybe he wants to think more about stability, and also Counter-Strike in North America, bit of a question mark. But apparently the CSGO comeback with Liquid is closer to reality now than it has ever been before. This is the report that Nell comes out with, usually pretty on the money with this stuff. Of course, things could always change, they always can, but as he says, this is translated from French, so it's not ideal, but he could come back to CSGO, should come back to CSGO, which probably just the more accurate translation might be is relatively likely to right now, and reunite with the Liege in Team Liquid, joined by Shox. If you guys follow CS, this squad is kind of crazy, the possibility of Vinny, Shox, Liege, and Nitr0, what is that? But still, Nitr0 potentially here as kind of an in-game leader type figure. This certainly would be a strange team, but there was some talk about a Liege. Could he consider going over to Valorant? And it seems like Nitr0 may well be going the other way. Of course, a lot of success alongside a Liege on Team Liquid a couple of years ago, when they had that kind of crazy era that Liquid had for a while, winning pretty much everything. But as of late, things obviously haven't been so good for that organization, and Nitr0 potentially leaving Valorant to go back to Counter-Strike. Certainly understandable in a way, a lot of success over there. Valorant maybe enjoys Counter-Strike more, could be on a bit of a resurgence, and I think a lot of people are saying, okay, no, we want Nitr0 to stay in Valorant, but if he's not really enjoying it, probably better to just let the player actually play what they enjoy, or he's not going to work in the long term anyway. The question is, though, is he actually going to go? Who really knows? And where does that leave 100 Thieves if he decides to? This is the tweet that he comes out with. Yes, say, nah, that ain't it, which of course could be bait, but who knows what this means, right? Does he mean that article isn't true? Does he mean that's not the real consideration? Does he mean that, yeah, this is true, but this actually isn't going to be the roster? It's really tough to tell with these kind of cryptic tweets. He did also tweet this back on the 12th of November when people were talking about the possibility of him leaving, I'm pretty sure it was about a couple of weeks ago then, leaving Valorant initially for Counter-Strike, that he was getting the popcorn out, or whatever was going on at the time. So that's kind of the question mark. What's Nitr0 going to do? That, of course, leaves massive questions. Since Steel left the squad, they needed an IGL. Nitr0 kind of stepped into that role as he was in Liquid for a time, to a relatively good success. Maybe not the perfect in-game leader type figure, but a pretty mature guy, definitely seemed to make it work over there. But still, if Nitr0 leaves to go back to Counter-Strike to join Team Liquid, then all of a sudden 100 Thieves are in a massively precarious position with who they need to find. Now, the other question mark here that comes out is that, this that we talked about a few days ago now, as George Geddes said here on the 17th of November, that 7, the general consensus is within the 100 Thieves squad, the 7 is not ready. This guy's only 16, but he has been kind of touted as the next hot prospect in the Valorant community, and he's of course a substitute right now on the 100 Thieves side, and we saw right when they they actually dropped Steel, brought Boy in, they said on their timeline, okay, Seven's now going to be our substitute player. But apparently they don't really think he's ready. They don't want to go down that route yet. And as a result, he's actually considering options to other organizations. As George Getter says last night, sources, 100 Thieves sub-player 7 is exploring options outside of the organization, trialing with teams for a starting spot on a roster. So that's the thing, if another organization gives him a starting spot, he's going to give that a go, right? Rather than staying on Thieves on their sub-bench, especially if they don't think he's ready personally for what they do going forwards. Seven has already trialed with the Luminosity Gaming. So as you can see right here, like, well, this is just a screenshot from the article, but, you know, as the situation describes, you know, potentially to replace your boy Dre on Luminosity Gaming, but also exploring options outside of LG, as we looked at maybe a couple of weeks ago now, but a deal has not been done. But yeah, trialing with LG, it seems at the present time, also going to trial with other teams apparently, and well, this is now their situation, 100 Thieves, with Hiko there, with Ethan there, with Asuna there, but now if Nitr0 switches back to Counter-Strike, that is their core three. What do you do with that, Dre? What do you do with Hiko, Ethan, and Asuna to round out the rest of the squad? Seems like every single announcement we see right now is not a player touted to join 100 Thieves, it's a player like, well, being talked about leaving 100 Thieves, which puts them in a really difficult position, especially if this is likely, like increasingly likely, that Nitr0 is going back to CSGO. Then what does that mean for their Valorant squads? Which two players do you add to Hiko, Ethan, and Asuna to take them back to that level they were at when they had Steel and they won First Strike, of course, last year? Since then, the success hasn't quite been there. Still been a very solid team, but since Steel has gone, things have very much gone downhill, it seems. And with Nitr0 leaving, I mean, that's quite the story, to be honest, if that is true. And Seven there as well, who could have been a good option, but well, he's going to explore options, it seems, elsewhere. If there is a starting spot for him on another team, he's certainly going to want to take that. And I'm sure 100 Thieves would kind of honour that discussion. If like he wants to leave, they'll probably honour that, right? And just say, okay, fair enough, we're not going to use you anyway for the near future. Really big question though, right? Because this is 100 Thieves on VLR.GG, their recent results. Like, this of course is their squad of technically, well, kind of 6. Steel is technically still there, but he's not going to be on the roster anymore. And then Nitr0, who knows where he's going. And then 7, Asuna, Ethan, Hiko. Could only be 3 of these guys on the team come VCT 2022. And just looking at their results, right, the last few months, it's been kind of, you know, it was up and down most certainly. But this last chance qualifier, that was their chance to make it. They lost to Rise, they lost to Cloud9 Blue. But yeah, I'm sure there's going to be loads of speculation on who their 4th and 5th players are going to be. I guess more on this just around the corner. But yeah, probably not too long after Champions, if not even before, if not during Champions, we might have a decent idea where Nitr0 is going. And that's the big question mark, right? If Nitr0 stays, then you only need to find one. That's okay. But if Nitr0 goes, that's where things seriously need switching up. And of course, the in-game leadership question comes through. And you might be looking at Still leaving the door and thinking, okay, was that really the best idea, all things considered? Could we have made it work if we kind of run it back? But he seems to be going to T1. Wanted to mention this as well from Lothar. He says right here, me and Champions. A lot of people expected, I think, Lothar to be there as one of the premier analysts, I think, in the scene. But as he says, every day getting numerous questions on my stream if or when I'm going to Berlin for Champs. Writing this so I can link it instead of answering every time. Not contacted about being an analyst for VCT Champions. Not going to the event this time. Sad for me, not there, but I'll continue to put in hours of the VOD reviews and me a broadcast playing in the game. Hopefully I can get feedback from Riot on what I can improve to be a better analyst for the VCT, and I'll work hard to, you know, be a better one for next year and all that type of stuff. So definitely a sad for Lothar, but I guess we'll see what's going on for the analyst desk and the talent, which I'm not actually sure has been announced yet for Champions, even though it's only a few days ago, so maybe it's going to come today or sometime. And just, well, speaking of Lothar, I thought this is kind of funny, really, this chamber play. Of course, we're not going to see chamber here at Champs because, well, it's not allowed yet until VCT 2022, but quite the play, really. You get up here with the headhunt or whatever it's called, the deagle effectively that chamber has, and you get the teleport thing. And I mean, this is a kind of nice play, to be honest. It almost seems too good to be true, like too broken at times. But this is a nice idea. You get up here and they're like, okay, you take a couple of gunfights, you get a couple of kills with the deagle, and then you can just, as soon as it runs out of bullets, I suppose, just teleport straight back under the balcony. And I mean, that's pretty much job done. So they come flying through this Viper wall or whatever. And I mean, he gets a couple of kills and then he just teleports away. Seems like pretty nicely done, to be honest. And you can just teleport straight under here. I don't know. Kind of a nice play. Seemed to work out relatively nicely. And yeah, 3k to help close out the round. Very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did enjoy it, hit in the like button. Tells the YouTube gods this is a good video. And also you should see it as well. And help grow the competitive Valorant community. Thank you for watching as always. Take care. And I will see you next time.